Wonderful. Today's call is titled It's Go Time. And every region has its times of the year when volume spikes and repair order counts go higher. And most generally, if you're in the northern part of the country, that traditionally is now. When you're coming into spring, middle spring, and into summer, through the summer months, and really up into November, it's go time. This is the time where that region of the country makes a huge quantity of money. If you don't make it in that period of time, you're going to struggle for the year. And obviously, if we look at states like Florida and Southern California, the go times might be different in parts of the region of the country, wherever you're at. But today we're going to look at first of all, it is go time. It's go time. Even though your region has different times of the year, we all have them where the volume spikes. Today let's look at some standards that should be your year-round, at all time things that you desire to achieve. The first one is that no matter what time it is, busy, tech's on vacation, tech's on training, whatever your issues are is irrelevant. You should have a maximum turn on scheduling of 2 business days. That means, in essence, if someone calls your dealership and says, I've got a service engine soon light on, or I've got this recall to perform, or I've got this drivability problem to get handled, that in the worst case scenario, you're telling that customer that you'll have them in within that 2 business day period. So I'll have you in tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and we'll diagnose this issue for you. If you can't say that to a customer right now, and in this we have to include used cars and also new car pre-delivery inspections. That should have a maximum 2-day turnaround. Now that might be controversial to some degree. You might ask yourself, 2-day turn on all of that? Well, that's impossible for me. But in a PDI, if you have damage underneath the vehicle or unreported damage, it goes beyond a certain number of days, and most generally that's 2-3 business days, then the dealership's paying for it. And if you're doing that and you can't do it, then the dealership pays for it anyway. And the reason I feel that they pay for it is the customer will go somewhere else. They don't care what your issues are. They really don't. And when you come in to do business with a dealership, that is what counts, customer care. So let's look at this. What does that take to have that 2-day turnaround? What does it take to have that kind of commitment? And first of all, I understand that techs generally like fewer the better in most cases. They would rather have fewer techs than more techs. But your techs must understand that customer care and retention demands that you have proper staffing to take care of their needs and meet this commitment of this 2-day turn. And interestingly enough, most technician vacations are planned in the go time period. So whatever part of the country you're in, when you're in your go time, that's generally when your techs want off. In this area of the U.S., the northern section, in summer months, your technicians, just like everybody else, they want to have a summer vacation. That's your go time. And then you look at it, on top of that, we have increasing demands on technical training. And all of these things require more staff. Then occasionally you'll have an injury or a tech leave to another dealership or move to another part of the country. Whatever happens to you, proper technician staffing is in place only when you can say to yourself that any customer that calls in any used vehicle and any new car gets processed within that 2-day window. Because if you think about it, who wins if you're not retaining the customers? And you might ask yourself this question. Well, wait a minute, Rob. What about when these slow times? What about when it's not go time? And if you look at that, I believe me, I have played this way for a lot of years and recommended this. But if you worry about 6-8 months from now when, gosh, it might get slow, and you're willing to sacrifice your go time profits and your go time customer care for 8 months from now, what might happen, you're wrong. If you're not staffed appropriately during your busiest times of the year, then your performance at the year-end financial statement will never be as good as it could be. And really what you find happens is that when you get to your slower time, the increased counts continue your growth. And in those times, when if you're in 8 months from now and it starts slowing down a little bit, catch up on your technical training. Prepare for the next busy season. But I promise you, if you get this turnaround standard and customer care standard into a common practice, your counts and your customer retention will be far greater in your slower periods than it would have been without technical staffing. And other things that happen to you if you're not staffed appropriately in busy times of the year, your technicians stop looking the vehicle over as well. And so do your advisors. The walk-around processes deteriorate. They're just processing people like cattle into the slaughterhouse. Sign here, sit there. Bring the car in, and the technician's got 5 more to get in and 2 SOP parts and 3 waiters. Is he going to look that vehicle over the same as if he had the time to go through it properly and retain the processes, retain good common business practices? You see, this is the vital part of it. Because when you're in that kind of an environment, all you're doing is putting out fires. This one's got to go. Oh, man, this one's got to go by 2. We got to get this one delivered back there. Things fall through the cracks. And the utmost of them is customer care. And when you think about it, that's all your dealership is about. Do you want to win in good times and bad? Do you want to sell more parts? Do you want to sell more service? You want customer satisfaction to be high? And you want customer retention to be high? You want your used car manager to smile? Why? One of the most common excuses I hear about why used car managers don't bring cars into service and why they take them other places. We can't get them in our own shop. I can't leave 20 used cars sit to get into service. That could be hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting there idle before they get to be sold. Not going to happen on my dime. That's what they're saying. So I got to do what I got to do. And what does the service department think? Well, it's a used car. I'll bring in these customer pay vehicles because they're customer pay, and I'll leave the used car inventory sit. Now, I don't care who you are. If that's the way you're going to treat a customer, anybody, including the used car department, are they going to be satisfied? Are you going to retain them? Are you going to make them excited to be doing business with you, even though it's the same dealership? Short answer is no. So if you can't meet this standard, look at your technician staffing. Don't worry about future months. Worry about now, taking care of business, turning the used car inventory back onto the lot, well processed, sales staff informed, gone over in great detail, and repaired. Don't ever worry about if things get slower in the future. It is a very nice surprise. If you keep this kind of standards, your customers will send their friends in. They'll send their families in. And guess what? You grow repaired accounts substantially all year round. The next part of Go Time I want to talk about today is advisor staffing. It must be considered as well. If you're short staff or marginal advisor staff and you're coming into your Go Time, do you think that the customer care and customer retention stays the same? If they don't have time to process customers properly with an intake process, reviewing their history, doing a walk around the vehicle, and making educated recommendations, do you believe that your satisfaction is going to be high? Or do you think that you're going to be throwing a lot of business on the table and leaving it there? Because believe it or not, I have never cared that a customer purchases an item that's recommended. But I think it's our obligation that the customer be informed and educated every time, every car. This is what your vehicle needs. And also, we got to refine that presentation process. So it's always based on feature, benefit, selling. If you believe that your advisors could go autopilot on this and just say, oh, your car needs a 60K, and that's $852. Those days have long been behind us. What's the features? What's the benefit? Why do I need this 60K service? What's in it for my vehicle? What's in it for my safety? These are the items that need to be addressed. And guess what? When it's go time, if your advisors are marginally staffed, it will cost the dealership literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over a year. And if you're thinking, well, I'm staffing light because, gosh, in the winter it slows down. And I sure don't want to be overstaffed in the winter. And January and February are terrible. So I want my staff to be lean all year. And I'll tell you what, it costs you in every category you can imagine. It literally will cost less to have appropriate staffing to care for your customer than it will the dollars you think you're saving in that few months where it might be slow. And again, just like in the technicians, if the staffing is good and the customer care is great, guess what? Your slow times aren't near as slow. So what I'm saying to you, I'm going to end the call with this. Every day is go time. Every day, all year round. Meet these standards. Make them your minimums. And watch your volume and customer satisfaction and customer retention grow consistently way beyond what you thought would happen. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thanks for attending the call, and make this your go time.